Welcome back. As we promised in our intro, we are going to continue covering the speech of President Abdul Fatisi in front of the Arab Summit, which took place in Baghdad a couple of days ago, in which he was keen to focus on the current situation in the Palestinian cause and renewed Egypt's firm stance regarding this very important, vital, crucial file, considering the Palestinian cause as on top of our priorities, and taking into consideration that Egypt since day one was keen to find a solution and to pacify the situation, to try to reach ceasefire and to end the bloodshed there, and also guarantee access of humanitarian aid to the Gazans inside Gaza, with full rejection to the displacement of Palestinians, whether in their lands or outside their territories. To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Nabil Nigmuddin, journalist and specialized in international relations. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Nabil, and a very good morning.
Good morning to you, and thanks for having me.
Sir, before going into details of the speech, because in fact the speech of the President in front of the Arab Summit was historic, I cannot describe it less than that, as he was keen to mention a number of points, particularly regarding the Palestinian cause. But he also said that even normalizing ties with Israel does not mean at all that the only mean to restore stability and peace in the Middle East is the two-state solution. And without an independent Palestinian state, no peace can be restored. How do you see mentioning this, sir, and this way?
For sure, Mr. President Sisi was very clear in his statement when he said that, that even with the Ibrahimi agreements which have been signed and new ones which Washington and Tel Aviv is trying to sign with other Arab states, a durable and just and comprehensive peace in the Middle East will remain fundamentally unattainable without the establishment of a Palestinian state. And that statement was very clear from the Egyptian president, and he was very decisive to say this state in accordance with the resolutions of the international legitimacy. I can see that the timing of the Egyptian president's statement to affirm that the two-state solution is the only way to restore stability, just and comprehensive peace in the Middle East, that was very, very much needed to make clear to Washington, Tel Aviv, and other capitals that Egypt would be always loyal to the Palestinian cause and to the Palestinian people.
Yeah, and the speech of the President coincided with the presence of Egyptian mediators, in addition, of course, to the Qatari and American mediators in Doha, to try to continue with the indirect talks between Israel and Hamas to put an end to the bloodshed there. How also do you see this, as Egypt, there are a lot of efforts exerted on all levels to end the crisis, and Egypt has such a pivotal role in this?
I would like to remind the audience that Egypt is a very, very much a country which believes in just peace and stability. When Egyptian great honorable army in the 6th of October 1973 launched its victorious attack to restore the land, we were not just attacking, we were just trying to get stability and get just to the Middle East. And after that great war of Ramadan, President Sadat went to Tel Aviv and he started to do the peace initiative. So Egypt believes very much that the rights of the people should be restored, either by negotiation or by military options.
But now, sir, of course, now the case is totally different. And I cannot even mention the military option, because this is not an option on the table right now. Egypt is all the time working for peace and working for stability through dialogue and to restore to dialogue. This is Egypt's trend, this is Egypt's way. And when the president also mentioned Syria, mentioned Sudan, mentioned Libya, mentioned Yemen, the president was keen to renew the Egyptian firm stance regarding these issues or these conflicts, restoring to dialogue, peaceful solution. This is the only way to meet the aspirations of our peoples in the Arab area, because our peoples really want only to live in peace, not to go into more wars. If you want to elaborate on that.
I would like just to make it clear, my dear, that Mr. President Sisi said it is with a sense of historical significance that this summit of Baghdad convened as the region grapples with interact challenges and unprecedented circumstances. And this moment urgently needs or demands unified stance between the Arab countries, because the Israeli extremist prime minister and cabinet are not respecting the international law, are committing genocide against the people of Gaza.
Ethnic cleansing. An ethnic cleansing.
Absolutely. So we have to, Mr. Sisi made it clear, listen, we are very much into a peaceful option, but unification of the Arab world has got to be done because the situation is very much dangerous.
Amen to that, sir. And a unified stance is something which is required badly with the current situation. But, sir, I'll return back to the Egyptian role, if you permit me, and we all the time announce and remind the international community that the Rafah border crossing from the Egyptian side is opened for now 2 months, despite the fact that the Israeli side is continuing with its very barbaric, stubborn situation not to allow humanitarian aid into the Palestinian territories. But this time, we had two Western, very important, high-profile guests. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. How do you see also those two figures as prominent guests in this Arab summit and the President addressing the summit with their presence?
Absolutely. The attendance of the UN Secretary General and the Australian, the Spanish Prime Ministers and other, prominent figure was very, very much significant. And the Egyptian President honorably said it very clear that it is clear to all that the Palestinian cause is navigating one of its gravest and most perilous junctures, because the Palestinian people have been subjected to the systematic atrocities and unspeakable violence aimed at their obliteration and annihilation of their presence in Gaza Strip. So Egypt is calling for the international community to stand by the Egyptian peaceful offers and stand by Egypt's efforts in negotiating between the Palestinians and the Israelis to come to end the war and get to a ceasefire and restore, supplying those miserable brothers and sisters with their food, medicine, and everything. I think the Egyptian effort is highly appreciated by the international community, and I believe very much that President Sisi was very much decisive and clear. We have to work together to stop this vicious genocide.
To take it from you, sir, regarding the Egyptian efforts serving the Palestinian cause, the President was keen also to continue with consultations with the sides of the issue, and of course on top of the list the Palestinian side. When President Sisi was attending the victory parade in Moscow, on the sidelines of this event he had a separate meeting with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, And and Abu Mazen really thanked the president for efforts exerted by Egypt in this regard, and also he mentioned the admission or the recognition of some Western states with the Palestinian state. On top of the list was Spain, and to convince more Western countries, heavyweight ones, to recognize the Palestinian state. As far as I understand it, this is going to be one of the important steps on the ground to give a hand to the Palestinian cause. If you agree with me on that.
Totally, because, you know, in his speech, Mr. President Sisi said that Egypt has taken the initiative to convene the extraordinary Cairo Arab Summit last March, and that summit unequivocally affirmed the unshakable Arab stance, rejecting displacement of the Palestinian people, and adopted a plan for the reconstruction of Gaza. Mr. Sisi also said, and I'm quoting, "Let me reaffirm our intention to convene an international conference for the early recovery and reconstruction of Gaza Strip immediately upon the cessation of hostilities." What does it mean? It means that we are working in both tracks. Track one is to get a ceasefire restored in Gaza. Track two is to pave the way for the political solution, which is based upon the two-state solution, a Palestinian state and Israeli state. And by the way, he has His Excellency has made it clear that we are very much open to anybody who can contribute to this honorable work.
Amen to that. I mean, if anyone can do anything for the best interest of the Palestinian people, simply he is most welcome. But
Absolutely.
Sir, yeah, amen to that. But also yesterday or the day before, to be accurate, Baghdad hosted another summit, which is the Social and Economic Development Summit, and Dr. Rania al-Mashat addressed the gathering on behalf of President Sisi. And to echo what you have just said, she also renewed the Egyptian commitment to continue with implementing on the ground the adopted Arab plan for the early recovery and reconstruction of Gaza. And thank God, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Shaya al-Sudani, the Iraqi Prime Minister, said that there is an initiative to have an Arab fund, and Iraq is going to participate with the $20 million for Gaza and another for Sudan for also a reconstruction process, asking or urging the Arab states to follow suit. How do you see this move, sir?
It is, to be honest with you, it's good, but not good enough. Because, you know, if you come and say some brothers, you know, are investing trillions of dollars with USA, and I believe very much those brothers should stand by the Palestinian brothers and by the countries which are around the fire line. I believe very much that Egypt is the central player in this area. Like it or not, the only country which can fight, the only country which can make peace. So, to find stability or to get to stability, everybody has got to listen to what Mr. Sisi said. We have to unify. Arabs should unify, and Arabs should look at the dangers and blots which are surrounding them. By the way, in Mr. Sisi's speech, he mentioned Syria. He talked about the exclusion or marginalization. He said
inclusion of all parties in the political process in Syria.
Exactly, and he talked about preventing the resurgence or export alongside withdrawal of the Israeli occupation. He referred to Lebanon, and he mentioned that we have to get Israel out of south of Lebanon. He referred to Libya, and he talked about that Egypt is persistent in its earnest endeavors to achieve a comprehensive political reconciliation. Mr. Sisi talked about Yemen, about Sudan. Listen, the hot files are so many. There is 7 failed states in the Arab world, and Egypt is highly aware of the repercussions of such situation. So we have to restudy.
And yesterday, the president received a high-ranking American visitor who is the one representing his country's administration in Africa, and they tackled together most of the files you mentioned, sir, and this is the firm stance of Egypt. Peaceful solutions, dialogue in Libya, for example, returning back to its sovereignty with the legislative and the presidential elections to be held on the ground, and let people decide for themselves. This is the Egyptian way of dealing with things. But, sir, if you permit me, I'd like to return back to the speech of the president, which came only a few hours even after the end of Donald Trump's tour here in the Middle East, and his very I'm going to describe it this way, provocative statements regarding Gaza. And again, the president was very much keen to renew full rejection of Palestinians' displacement, whether inside or outside their territories. In the same time, as we say, he threw the ball in the field of America and asked American President Donald Trump to continue his efforts and to reach a ceasefire like the one which was reached 2 or 3 months ago. How do you see this very balanced statements released by our president?
I would like to make it clear to the audience that each country has got its own agenda. Mr. Trump, when he comes to the Gulf states and signs more or less $8 trillion deals, he's talking about Gaza. No, sir. I would have expected you to talk about Palestine. I would have expected you, sir, the President of the United States of America, the permanent member of the Security Council, and the country which is asking for or calling for freedom and justice and all that, to talk about the rights of the Palestinian people, not to talk about Gaza and you're going to manage Gaza. No, Gaza doesn't need anybody to manage it. Palestinian people need their state. That's number one fact. Number two fact is Egypt is not going to neglect its commitment to the Palestinian issue and to the Palestinian people. No matter what, Egyptians believe very much that their brothers deserve their own state. Number three, the free people around the world are now calling for justice and peace for the Palestinians. So I believe very much Cairo is going in the right track.
Well, Dr. Nabil Nigmuddin, our specialist in international relations, our journalist, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.